Well, welcome to the Day 2 live update from the RORC Caribbean 600. We've got race director Steve Cole, who will be running through all the classes racing, and we've also got some really cool videos sent in from the boats from every class in the RORC Caribbean 600. But first off, let's have a little recap of how it all started.
Yeah, well, we're about to race on a 600-mile offshore Caribbean around the island.
As Mark, the crew, just said, it's sunny and a chance of racing fast.
I tell my crew every time we get on board, we're going to send it. So that's what we're doing today.
We're a bit over the deadline to go out, so a bit nervous.
Oh God, what is the time?
8:30.
Half past 8. 2.5 hours until the start of the race.
A very warm welcome to you wherever you are in the world from Fort Charlotte, Antigua, for the start of the 2025 RORC Caribbean 600. We have got picture perfect conditions, 17 knots from the east and glorious tropical sunshine.
All competitors in the Caribbean 600 race, this is Ocean 1, good morning. The ODM is in position and can be pinged. This is Ocean 106. Have a great race.
Squares and circles. Our thoughts and dreams, feelings at our knees, here.
Well, I hope you tuned in for the start of the RORC Caribbean 600. We're now just over 24 hours into the race, and we've got up the race tracker, and I'm going to hand over to race director Steve Cole to give you all an update. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Louis, and good afternoon. Well, afternoon just in Antigua.
Yeah, you stole my first line, just over 24 hours into the race, and you can see from the tracker how spread out the fleet is now, with the leaders sort of coming down towards the bottom of Guadeloupe. Not quite in the home straight, but certainly a good way around the course. And the RC2 boats still up around St Bart's and Anguilla, almost 180 degrees, polar opposites to the leading boats. But a great night, a reasonably fast start to the race. The wind across the race course, somewhere between 17 and 24 knots, we've had reports. So not quite on the record pace for the leading boats, but still a reasonable amount of time to go. So a couple of nice fast reaching legs, they might pick it up a bit. And it's nice to see a lot of little battles starting to form around the racecourse in the various classes. So quite an interesting next couple of days, I think. We've had a few retirements overnight, nothing serious, I'm pleased to report, but people have suffered little bits of damage to sails or rigging, which unfortunately has meant that they've had to retire, but as always we monitor the race 24 hours a day, and those retirements were notified to us in the correct manner, and everybody's safe and well. They're making their way slowly back to Antigua, so all good so far.
What are we going to have a look at first, Steve?
I think we'll have a look at the Super Zero, the big boats. As we mentioned just now, they are coming down towards the bottom of Guadeloupe. I think we mentioned in the pre-start feed that it would be a battle of the L's, Lucky and Leopard, and that seems to be the case. Lucky, predominantly a reaching boat, so there is still a chance for Leopard. And the rest of them, Shush 2, who was the overall winner of the transatlantic race, they're actually leading the race on RC corrected time at the moment as we speak, but that can obviously all change. And they're having a great old ding dong in there, so it's pretty full on, I would imagine, in some of those boats last night. We'll have a few videos as we go through this update, I know, but those boats are proper fast racing machines, and I don't think there'll be much sleep had in on many of those overnight.
And the question that's been coming through on my WhatsApp: when's the first boat going to finish, Steve?
Well, because the race is around these 11 Caribbean islands, we actually have quite a lot of contacts with the boat. It's not like the transatlantic race where they disappear off and we rely on satellite phones or satellite links now. They're quite a lot of them are in phone range, and they report back and they send in their blogs to you. So I think that Lucky is looking at finishing early doors tomorrow morning, so 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. local time in Antigua, so tomorrow morning. Always in the dark. It's, most of our races seem to finish the Multihull line on us in the dark for some reason. Perhaps we ought to start them in the dark and then they might finish in the day. But so a very early doors tomorrow morning.
Okay. We did get a little video from Pyewacket. I'm just going to play that now. It's literally 10 seconds, and it actually says, of course they're competing, but they're also having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, well, you'd hope so.
Lovely race so far. St. Kitts, Nevis, second place in the race. So far, doing all right. Loving it.
That's Roy P. Disney there. Obviously enjoying it. Steve?
Yeah, well, I think it was, we'll move on to Zero, but it was interesting at the start that Pyewacket actually had a reef in, and I think that was a deliberate tactic. I don't think there was any issues with the boat, and it certainly hasn't affected their performance. They've certainly still been on it.
We saw a few boats with reefs in at the start, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think it's quite unusual for a Super Zero boat.
Sure. In 17 knots of breeze.
Yeah, in 17 knots of breeze. So they must have made a a positive decision that the boat was either going to go better or be more comfortable or point higher. One, who knows until we talk to them at the end. But it was interesting to see that.
Okay.
And zero on the screen now is RC. The boat's in RC 0. It's the old battle of the car keeks at the front, and interestingly, the guys on Deck A were talking that they're trying to offshore optimise that boat, and so in the Nelson's Cup, I think they were learning a lot about tight corners and inshore stuff, and especially against Ran, which is a hugely experienced team. They've done many hours of practice inshore and offshore, and they're actually holding their own at the moment. Deck A 5. So it's good, and that's one of the little battles. I think when I looked a little while ago, they're only 3.5-4 miles apart, so they'll almost be in sight. Well, they should be in sight during the day, so it will be effectively a sort of 36-hour match race for those two guys until they arrive back in Antigua. So another fleet that's probably not getting a lot of sleep between them.
Yeah, I'll tell you who else is definitely in sight of each other, and that's Summer Storm and Final, the two USA 52-footers.
Yes, well, they're as you can see on the tracker, you can almost have to go through one to get to the other one. So they will be having a right old ding dong. And Eno, James Neville's boat, is sort of in the gap between those two and leaps and bounds. Yeah. But then any of those guys can come through. Still probably half of the race to go for RC 0. So it's interesting to watch. Yeah,
we did hear from Final. In fact, here's a piece that Matt Humphrey sent in. The audio is pretty windy, but we put some captions so you can see what's going on.
Go. Early morning today. Pretty much a long starboard tack up by Anguilla. Battle with Summer Storm. The edge just out to where just got kind of sunrise down to St. Bart's. We're close on their heels, having a sporty morning.
Yeah, that was interesting to hear. They've properly locked horns, those two, Steve. You can see that on the tracker.
Yeah, exactly, and they'll have a great battle and quite a big decision for their tacticians as they get down to Guadeloupe, which is how far offshore, how far inshore, wind shadows, what the other boat is doing. It'll probably be night time again by the time they're down there, so it's quite a lot of them to think about when they're 20, 30 hours into the race.
Yeah, and you could get a scenario where Ran and Daguerre get caught up at Guadeloupe, and particularly on corrected. If they do something different behind, they could get them for the class win, couldn't they? Yeah,
well, it's technology is a marvellous thing in sailing, but it actually it does now give all of the boats all of the advantages. See them on the tracker, on the AIS. They can see what they're doing. They can see which way they're going. They can see whether they're slowing down, speeding up, and it sort of slightly gives the boat behind a little bit of technical advantage. They can Rana and Daguerre are not looking at anybody in front of them. They are looking at making it as they go along. So it's as we say, technology is a marvellous thing, but probably they would rather, I should think the leading boats would rather the back boats didn't have it at the moment.
Well, just before we leave IRC 0, I don't know what you had for breakfast, but here's what they had for breakfast on Final, courtesy of tactician Cameron Appleton.
Breakfast time, is it, Cam?
Yep. Can't pronounce it, but it's definitely muesli. Some Swedish brand by the looks. A couple of coffees for the lads. John's got his.
How we going on?
5 breakfasts down there in the bow to leeward. Quite challenging bouncing up in these waves. few spillages. But all in all, we're getting the troops fed.
Yeah, great stuff from Cameron Appleton there. And Steve, I see you switched the tracker over to IRC1. Run us through it.
Well, we've been talking all the time about little battles, and there's another one forming in RC1 between Albator, the NMD 43, and Tequila. Now, Tequila, I think everyone would probably recognise as a Class 40, but she's actually racing under IRC in this race, and performing pretty well. It's they're good on the reaches, so she's holding her own, and I think less than 3 miles separated them again when I looked just before we came on air.
And this is live we're looking at now, isn't it? What speed? Oh, look, just
there you go.
updated. What's the Tequila doing? What kind of speed they do?
So they are doing well, remarkably slowly.
Yeah, so
7.9 knots.
Suggest it's a tight angle.
Yeah. So they, as we say, they're better off the wind, and so that they've come onto the breeze a little bit now. So maybe it's a chance for Albator to peg him in a bit. But at the moment, Tequila are leading that class overall, which I thought, I think they'll be really happy with.
For sure.
If a Class 40 wins RC1, then
yeah. What's Albator doing? What speed's Albator up to?
Well, Albator's slowed down as well, so maybe there's a little bit of light in the air. It's,
okay.
But the rest of them sort of working their way between Anguilla and then following back down to the bottom of the course.
Yeah. And
you've also got in that class at the a bit further back. You've got Patanegra and Warthog, the local boat. I mean, Patanegra's a very sort of seasoned campaigner. He's done this race
at least 4 times.
Yeah, at least 4 times, and a few of those times he would have had Jacko on board with him, who now works with us, and I think Jacko's done this race 13 times or something. So it's it's a crazy amount of experience on that boat.
And they're expecting the breeze to shift to free them off a little bit for the big run, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, and I think that going back to the Super Zero and Zero boats, I don't think that the later boats in those fleets are going to have that advantage, but certainly in the RC1 and RC2 they will have, and of course that then makes the overall situation interesting if the boats are able to sail relatively faster down legs than the boats in front of them. So all to play for in that class.
Yeah, we got a little update from the Swan 651 Spirit of Helsinki as they were going around the west side of St Martin. So here's Yoku.
Ciao from Spirit of Helsinki. You're just rounding a St. Martin in a nice 20 knots breeze.
Yeah, there we go. Nice to see the Finns having a good race. Steve, back to you. We are with IRC2.
We are with RC2, and as you can see from the screen, there's quite a spread in RC2 at the moment. The Ross Appleby and his bunch of merry men are leading on Team Scarlet on Emily of Cow. So Richard Oswald's, I think it's in the Land 450. Is that correct? So. They've chartered that. They've done a couple of days practicing, donned their red jackets, and off they've gone. So again, a hugely experienced team, and Ross would have done this race many times. But the joy of RC racing, every dog has his day. So he may again get stuck further down the course, and of course, being the slower boats, they've got further to go. So more jeopardy for some of them maybe in a longer race. The training boats, well, they were having a good battle. Unfortunately, Escapado was one of the retirements earlier today with a rudder problem.
But all okay on board, yeah?
All okay on board, yeah. And the, you know, we always like to give a bit of love to the boats at the back of the course, because they're actually the ones, I wouldn't say they enjoy it more, they just seem to enjoy it more than anybody else. And I think it's because it's such an achievement for those guys to do this race. And you know, they watch the Leopards and Luckies of this world whiz round in 30 hours and then probably think they're getting very good value for money when it takes them 5 days to do the course.
Yeah. But doing it just for the love of it.
Yeah, exactly. And all the teams seem to have not paired up deliberately, but they all appear to be very close to another boat, so that at least having you know, someone to, and I think that's what keeps them going as well. You know, it'd be easier to sort of slacken off a bit, but when a boat is a mile away, they'll be constantly saying, "Oh, you know, I'll see if we can get a little bit closer to this or stay with them." So yeah, a great sort of spirit in RC2.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we've got quite a nice update from IRC2 from Mats Recco on Carpo, and he's actually running through the race so far for the Slovenian Elan 40, and we can play that for you now.
Hello, good morning from Carpo, here in the wind shade, so you can hear me. Yeah, it was an exciting day for us yesterday and during the night. The start was absolutely spectacular. It was so fun tacking up into Green Island, so many boats around us. We got filmed from the helicopter, which is an amazing experience. And then after that we set our code 0. It was quite windy for our relatively light wind code 0, and about an hour later it split in half and we put it away. Not very pleasant thing. Shortly after the wind changed and we set the A2. It was going really well until we noticed a small crack at the top in the canvas, and we took it out swiftly and tried ourselves in speed sewing and patching. So it was the matter of getting the sail ready as quickly as possible, and we did it. We put it back up. It was working perfectly. The run from Barbuda to Nevis was really fun. We had to be quite on the limit to make it around Nevis, and then it was really nice in the flat water on the lee side of the island. Near St. Kitts we got a strong gust and the tech line stopper got loose, and we dropped the spinnaker in the water and it split in half, and after that the morale spiraled down quite a lot, because losing 2 sails in one day, 2 relatively new sails, it's not easy. Yeah, we continued with the Genoa, and now we're on a beat to St. Bart's. The morale is better. We just accepted the fact that we don't have any other sails left, which simplifies the whole thing. Yeah.
You're on, Steve. Go for it.
So last but not least, the multi-hulls. Now, obviously, previously we've had the Mod 70s doing this race, who we'd normally be running up the hill this afternoon to see those guys come in. So it's a little bit unusual, but nevertheless it gives all these other multis a chance to shine and have a go at the trophies, which is great. And another battle between Wellness Training, the MG5, and Malolo. We can see on the tracker there that Malolo's obviously just done a little hitch to make sure she clears that island. So it looks like it could be a little bit upwind there. And then they'll probably have to hitch out again to get past the exclusion zone around Montserrat. And if anyone's interested, the exclusion zone is it varies year to year on the government website, but we've actually left it the same. That is from when the obviously the volcano was erupting all over the place, and the authorities decided to put in a reasonably big exclusion zone, and we've kept that the same year on year, so it's not too tricky. But yeah, they're having a great old battle at the front, and then Parasquarek, which is the boat that sailed across the Atlantic with Thierry on board, who's a right old character. He's got Crocs, which I'm a huge fan of, but he's got yellow Crocs, so he matches boat. So he's basically at the bottom of Anguilla. So we look forward to those guys coming back. They've formed a little band of their own, and they've had a couple of multi-hull dinners and seem to be thoroughly enjoying themselves. So it'd be great when they finish.
Yeah, and as you say, Steve, Wellness Training, Mark Gumo is leading on the water, and we've got Malolo tucked in the nearest competition, and Will Harris actually checked in from Malolo. We'll just give you an idea of what life's been like on board.
So here we are on board Malolo RORC 50 on our way up to Guadeloupe. I'll just show you on the chart. We're just going past, back past Nevis and St. Kitts. Full on night, nice sailing. We've had a few breakages, but glamour sailing. And we've got the MG5 just up a mile over there, so nice and close racing.
That was Malolo there. Steve, a great first 24 hours.
Yeah, amazing. And as I say, we monitor the race all the time between us, and we're just hopefully that short time has explained what we are seeing and has put a bit of depth into what people are seeing on the tracker. So yeah, thanks Louis, and just people want a bit more information, just you can follow the boats on the YB tracking app or on our sailracehq.com website, which will give corrected time results at various transit points around the course. So a bit of interest there for boats that are doing well in various sectors, or if any sailing aficionados want to see who performed best in which leg, then all the information is there. So have a look at that.
Wonderful. Yeah, first finishers are expected in the very early hours of Wednesday morning Antigua time, about 3-5 a.m, something like that local, which is -4 UTC. We should bring you another live update tomorrow, and also obviously on our social media platforms you can see even more media from the RORC Caribbean 600. Thanks very much for watching. We'll play you out with that lovely start video.
Yeah, well, we're about to race on a 600-mile offshore Caribbean around the island.
Mark, the crew just said it's sunny and a chance of racing fast.
I tell my crew every time we get on board, we're going to send it, so that's what we're doing today.
We're a bit over the deadline to go out, so a bit nervous.
Oh God, what is the time?
8:30.
Half past 8. 2.5 hours until the start of the race.
A very warm welcome to you wherever you are in the world from Fort Charlotte, Antigua, for the start of the 2025 RORC Caribbean 600. We have got picture perfect conditions, 17 knots from the east and glorious tropical sunshine.
All competitors in the Caribbean 600 race, this is Ocean 1, good morning. The ODM is in position and can be pinged. This is Ocean 106. Have a great race.
Squares and circles. Little shards of a larger crystal ball. All our thoughts and dreams feed